I just find it very fascinating that people actually work on cruise ships and they're just living their best lives. Welcome to Passport Pages, where I share tips and experiences on traveling as a solo black female traveler, the journey to location and financial independence, and everything in between. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Passport Pages, and today we're going to be talking about the 8 jobs that allow you to travel in 2021. And we're going to be discussing the pros and cons of each job as well, just to ensure that you know what you're getting into before you get into it. Alright, so let's get straight into these jobs. Job number 1 is software engineering. Now, software engineering is definitely something that I have even been way more interested in as of late. If you don't know what software engineer is, it's practically a web developer, and there's actually one channel in particular that I am absolutely obsessed with, and it's the Come Up. Her name is Bukola, and she is a software engineer, a black software engineer in NYC, and she earns about £210,000. So, sorry, not pounds, she earns about $210,000 a year. It's such a high paid job because there's such a high demand for it, and it's extremely highly skilled as well. The good thing about software engineering is that you're going to get paid a lot, so the compensation is way above your average job. I'd say the average is about 70,000 to 80,000, but I'll put an official figure right up here of what the salary is for that kind of job. You also get a chance to work remotely as well, which is another fantastic benefit of being a software engineer, because it's something that you can do over the computer. If you're working remotely, then of course that allows you to travel, and you can work from practically wherever you want in the world, depending on the job role. Some jobs are a bit more rigid than others. Sometimes they will allow you to work from wherever in the world as long as you have a stable internet connection. Another good thing about software engineering is that you actually don't need a computer science degree to embark on this career path. There's loads of people who are software engineers now that actually haven't got a degree and they're self-taught. So they either attended like a boot camp, or they decided to read some books and build some projects and just really impress their employers, and they got lucky. Well, not even lucky, I think they worked hard for it and they got into the field. So it's very doable. However, some of the cons of software engineering are that the hours can be extremely long. Sometimes you can be on call as well. Depending on your contract, you can be on call because, as you can imagine, if you're working with IT systems, something crashes at 2 a.m, you need to be available to actually fix that problem. So it is very demanding, and that's the reason why it's such a high salary package as well. So you do kind of earn that money through your hard work. Another thing is that I would say actually practicing to become a software engineer is not easy, and it's very high competition in terms of trying to get a job in that field, especially the very good paying ones like the 6-figure salaries. But it's definitely still doable, so don't give up. And another thing that I would say that's a con of software engineering is just that you may or may not be able to travel as freely, just simply because of how much work there actually is to do. So yeah, just be wary of that, but all in all, it is a very good one to do, especially if you're looking for financial stability, if you want to, you know, challenge yourself to do something a little bit different and a little bit more difficult, then yeah, go for it. Okay, so another job that you could do that allows you to travel is working on a cruise ship. Now, this is quite a popular job because there are so many roles that you could do on a cruise ship. There's administration roles, sales roles, there's beautician roles. Did I mention that you could also be an entertainer on the ship as well? So a lot of people actually end up working on a cruise ship because of this, because, you know, whatever skills you have, you can really put it to use in whatever department that you want to go into. And there are so many pros of working on a cruise ship. One of these is that, first of all, your income is tax-free. Okay, that is something that is a major plus, right? So you have tax-free income on a cruise ship because you are never actually really in one particular place. You're at sea, and you know, there's no tax for people at sea, and you can save quite a lot of money. Another positive as well is actually that you get fed for free and housed. Some companies may make you pay, which I think is a bit stingy because, you know, the salary is not that high anyway, but hey. So another good thing about working on a ship is that you get to travel so much. Literally, there's some times that you will be on a cruise ship on a contract for 6 to 9 months or even longer at times, and this just basically means that you're going to be traveling from country to country to country, and at some of these countries you get to get off and explore and just enjoy and literally it sounds like a dream. I actually have been watching this girl called Cruising as Crew just to learn a bit more about cruise ships. I personally don't think I would work on a cruise ship, but it does look really fun from her perspective as well. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the link to her channel below so that you can have a look. I'd say that some of the cons of working on a cruise ship, however, is that the wages can be a little bit low depending on what cruise ship you're working with or what company you've come in with. So if you're not a manager on the cruise ship, you have to share a room with someone else, which I personally think is a little bit invasive. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't work on a cruise ship, because I'm sure you have to work your way up to be a manager, or you have to have just very extensive skills to become a manager, like come straight in as a manager and then get your own room. So depending on what department you're in, you could end up working about 7 days a week. Now this is actually a lot because we're used to having at least 2 days off in normal jobs on land. So yeah, it can be a bit of a shock to the system. You can be extremely tired. It can be quite overwhelming as well, especially if you're doing that for 9 months straight. But it is fun all in all. So I think that depending on your personality and how you are, you may be able to do that. I personally know I couldn't. And yeah, like I just think that's another way to really explore as many countries as you possibly can. Okay, so another job that I would recommend is becoming a flight attendant. Yep, the most popular one, which I would say. So a flight attendant, if you don't know, is basically an air hostess or an air host. How I see it really is it's basically hospitality in the air. So you're responsible for just making sure that passengers are okay, ensuring that passengers are safe and informed of, you know, safety precautions and things like that. With being a flight attendant, there are just so many benefits because you do get to travel a lot, because of course you're going to be flying here and there, everywhere, literally. Depending on the schedules of the flights, you will be flying to places, and these places could be an hour away or they could be 10 hours away. The nice thing about being a flight attendant is that with the long haul flights, then you get off the flight when you get to the destination, and the company that you're working for usually pays for a hotel room for you to stay, and you may even stay in the country for up to 3-4 days, could be even longer, and that is a fantastic chance for you to go and explore the town and just take nice pictures and just, you know, jet set really. So I think that's a great part about being a flight attendant, because you also get paid to do that. You meet a lot of friends who are also flight attendants who are into the same thing that you're into. The only cons I would say about being a flight attendant is that with any kind of hospitality job, passengers can be quite annoying. So yeah, you're gonna have to really deal with annoying passengers. Thankfully I'm not an annoying passenger, I like to think, when I'm on a plane, but I know how some people can be, especially because I've worked in the hospitality sector before, and yeah, they can be really annoying. So imagine being stuck on a flight with somebody who is extremely annoying and just irritates you the whole time, but you have to just be all smiley and happy and, you know. And that brings me on to my next point. Another con that I would say for me personally for being a flight attendant is the fact that you have to be completely prim and proper all the time. Like, those are the worst kind of jobs for me personally. I don't like it when I have to look tip-top, red lipstick, you know, hair on point, everything on point when I'm working, because, you know, the job is stressful as it is. Like, I like to do that at my own will. I don't want it to have to be an absolute must, because there's some days that I may not feel like dressing up or whatever, and because I've been in a job like that before where I have to look nice all the time, and it was, goodness, it was so stressful, and my skin was awful after that as well because I was wearing makeup every single day. Like, it was crazy. Other than those cons, I would just say that it can be a little bit tiring as well, because you have to stay quite alert during the flight, making sure that the passengers are good. And unfortunately as well, this kind of job is affected by pandemics, just like the cruise ships, because right now there are several air hostesses and air hosts that actually ended up losing their job as a result of the pandemic. And, you know, none of us have ever seen anything like this pandemic before, so I'm sure it came as a shock to a lot of people. And I don't want to put that as a permanent con, because I'm feeling optimistic that we're gonna overcome this pandemic, but I do feel that going forward it can be a little bit difficult to maybe get a job in that field so soon, but it's definitely worth a try. And I would just say, you know, take your chances, go ahead and apply anyway, but always just have some sort of backup just in case, because I know I had a friend who was an air hostess that ended up losing her job, and I think she lost it about twice now as a result of the pandemic, because she got a new job and then she lost that one too because that airline went bust. So yeah, it's a little bit shaky at the moment, as with all jobs, but yeah, don't let that stop you. Make sure you apply and, you know, just put yourself out there. Okay, so another job would be being a digital nomad. Yes. So this is actually quite a funny one, because I was so infatuated with the whole idea of being a digital nomad, especially when I was finishing up with uni. I just really wanted location independence, and that is basically what a digital nomad is. They work from anywhere in the world on their laptop, as long as they've got a secure connection. They're basically freelancers who work from anywhere in the world, and they provide services. So this could be from web design, this could be from consulting, literally anything. If you have your own business and you work anywhere in the world, then you are practically a digital nomad. And it doesn't have to be just a business that you have, it can be just a skill that you possess which is highly valuable, such as coding, that can be offered from anywhere in the world. So yeah, it's a very good job to have if you want to travel, because not only are you going to be in complete control of how you do things and where you do things, but you'll also be able to just basically set the rules and be anywhere you want to in the world. And some of the pros of being a digital nomad, like I said, is location independence. That you get to manage your workload, set your own hours, you know, set your own clients and stuff like that. And you basically have the freedom to work from a hammock, which is the idea that we all have of digital nomads. Someone on a laptop in a hammock, literally just typing away and making money from anywhere in the world. Another thing that's good about a digital nomad is that you can actually earn money in pounds or US dollars or in a higher currency, and then you can go and spend that money in a country that has a lower currency, or should I say lower exchange rate, and your pound or dollar can go way further in that country. So effectively, you're really saving a lot more by living elsewhere, especially if you live in places like Bali or Thailand, which a lot of people end up doing. And they live very luxurious lives in these places because it's just so much cheaper than living in somewhere like London or New York, for example. So yeah, that is a very good way of traveling and getting paid for it. So some cons that are associated with being a digital nomad is that it is an extreme amount of pressure. Like, I know that everyone thinks, oh yeah, digital nomad, they're just literally standing by palm trees, running on beaches, working out in a swimming pool somewhere, but it is a lot of work, because if you think about it, you know, when you have your own business or you're managing your own skills and you're managing your own workload, then you do have to be extremely disciplined, and you have to be very, very hardworking as well, because your livelihood depends on your clients, it depends on the work, and your income, quite frankly, depends upon your output. So if you're not doing any work, or if you're not securing those clients and securing the bag and being a hustler, then you could suffer and have to go back to your home country, or you may even be stuck. So you just have to keep on going. It's like a hamster wheel sometimes. But you know, some people are very lucky and they've been very successful with it. Some people even have YouTube channels and they can still earn money and work from wherever in the world. So this is another reason why, you know, I feel like I'm even doing YouTube as well. Like, it's one of the aspects, because I just feel like if you can earn money from wherever, why not? Hopefully, fingers crossed, if you guys keep subscribing and liking, then, you know, we'll actually get somewhere with this YouTube channel, and by God's grace, I may be able to work from wherever I want to. And another con would be that you spend a lot of time away from your loved ones as well. So this can be really difficult, but usually with digital nomads, they're quite independent and they're able to navigate their way around town and around cities to country, and they're used to being away from family. So, I mean, for me personally, you know, there's FaceTime, there's other things, so I wouldn't really be that upset, especially if I'm just living my best life and, you know, it gives an opportunity for my family to come and visit me as well in a lovely location. So another job that allows you to travel is teaching. Now, teaching is a very popular one. So popular that even I was a teacher at one point, because I was fantasizing about this idea of, wow, okay, if I get to teach, then I get to move abroad and I can teach there and I can travel and I can do this and that, that. And there was just so much in my head that was motivating me to become a teacher at that time. I even ended up landing 2 job offers in Abu Dhabi after 5 months of teaching, and I've got a whole video on that. So if you're interested in that, make sure you click the link up above and go and watch this video straight after. And I was meant to move to Abu Dhabi, but there was just a few things that made me feel that teaching wasn't for me. Like the unbelievable workload, the unrealistic expectations of teachers, and low pay. But nevertheless, I'm going to get into some of the pros of teaching. So the pros of teaching is that you actually get about 71 to 76 days off a year, and that is paid as well. So you get holidays. Every single time that the kids are on holiday, you are on holiday as well. And that is one thing I absolutely loved about teaching. However, obviously at that time I was just a trainee, so I didn't have as much of a workload as some of the more senior staff or people who have been teachers for longer and had more responsibilities. So usually these holidays are spent actually marking books and doing loads of other admin stuff that you didn't get a chance to do during the time that we were at school. So I would definitely say that, yeah, teaching is quite nice in that you get that time off, and in that time off you can actually manage your workload. So another job that allows you to travel abroad is becoming an au pair abroad. So as an au pair, you're basically responsible for children and their well-being. So that may involve cooking, it may involve picking them up from school, it may involve cleaning after them, it may involve getting them ready for bed, so on and so forth, taking them out. In my opinion, I don't think it's a very popular one, but maybe it's just because I don't know people specifically who have moved abroad to become an au pair, but I do know that it definitely is still something that you can do. Okay, so some of the pros that come with being an au pair abroad is that you get to live in most of the time. Well, if not all of the time, you're actually living in the house with the family that you're being an au pair for. That means that your rent is zero. Sometimes your cost of food as well will be zero, because if you're making food, then of course you're going to be able to eat, unless the family is really horrible or something. Well, hopefully not. So basically you don't really have that many costs, which is nice. Okay, that I was actually searching up jobs, and I did see a few jobs being advertised in Dubai for being an au pair, and a lot of these jobs were very specific about the kind of au pair that they wanted. They wanted you to speak a specific language, they wanted you to be a specific color, they wanted you to be a specific ethnicity. Like, it was a lot. Ooh, excuse me. It was a lot, guys. So yeah, just be careful when it comes to that, because it can be a little bit disheartening. I remember seeing that and I was completely put off when I saw that, oh, you need to be a specific ethnicity, and I was thinking, oh, well, why? But I guess it's because of, language barriers and things like that. Some other pros of being an au pair is that you can actually end up traveling with the family when they decide to go away, because a lot of the time as an au pair you're basically full-time. So if the family decides to travel abroad to, I don't know, say Seychelles or another exotic country, then you often get to go with them, which is really nice. You'll be able to explore the town, enjoy yourself on your downtime. Some cons to consider though with being an au pair is that you're moving abroad and you're going to be in someone else's house, so it may not be the most stable job, because at any moment they could just decide that, actually no. I guess that you could say it's with any job really that happens, but with an au pair specifically, everything is very subjective, so it's very important to make sure that you have some funds saved up just in case, or you're making money separately as well on the side. That's what I would recommend. Another con I would say as well is that you're never really sure what you're going into 100%, because you're going to be moving abroad to become an au pair. You don't know the kind of family that you're going into, so just proceed with caution. So make sure that you always have a contract, and just make sure that there's clear boundaries as well. I can't really advise as much as I'd like to, because I actually know nothing about the profession, but I do know that it is something that you can do if you wanted to travel, and it is available to you. So another career that you could take on is being a travel agent. So this is something that is also quite popular, and with a travel agent you can either work for a company or you can actually set up your own industry, gosh. You can set up your own company, and this is really good because you're able to provide holiday packages for people, help people with their travels. You know, it's quite a fulfilling thing to be able to design holiday packages for your customers, build relationships with these customers, and also you get quite a few travel perks if you're working for a company. As a travel agent, you get quite a few discounts. You know, you've got access to exclusive deals and things like that, which is fantastic. And of course, if you're a travel agent and you're working for yourself, then you will have the flexibility to travel wherever you want, whenever you want, depending on the size of your budget. The only cons I would say about being a travel agent is that you could get a little bit jealous, just a little bit, when you're planning these trips for your customers, especially if you do not have the funds to go on these trips yourself. I know that there was a travel agent that was complaining, saying that they got a bit jealous and they had to actually quit the job completely because it was just too much for them to be booking stuff for people. Okay, and last but not least, you can be a freelancer. Now, similar to being a digital nomad, being a freelancer actually allows you to travel as well. And this is because as a freelancer, you own your skill. But this skill could be anything from writing to hairdressing to content creation to social media management. So being a freelancer, you're able to kind of work from wherever you want in the world. You can create your customers wherever you want them to be. And if most of your customers are in Australia or Nigeria or Bali or wherever it is, you can go to these places to ensure that you are closer to your customers. So this is a good thing about being a freelancer. Another thing is that you do have a bit more freedom to, you know, set your schedule according to how you want it to be, and set your clientele according to how you want it to be. You don't have to work with anyone you do not like and things like that. So yeah, that is another way that you can travel and get paid for it. Now, some cons with freelancing, however, is that just like any other freelancing job or freelancing gig or any gig where you are the boss, more or less, it is very much hard work. You will have to, you know, make a lot of sacrifices to ensure that you are meeting your targets for you to live the lifestyle that you really want to live. It can be a lot of pressure. You may be away from family a little bit longer than you want to, and sometimes you may not even be able to travel as much as you want to, depending on the location of your job and what those commitments you have to that particular job that you are doing. So for example, say that you have a website client in the UK and you wanted to travel to Bali. This client that you have may want to actually check in with you every 2 to 3 weeks face to face, just to ensure that, you know, the project is coming along the way they need to, because usually with these kind of projects it is a lot of money, so you do kind of have to be really hands-on, and that can be quite a lot, because, you know, you won't be able to travel if you have to be meeting up with this client. And to be honest with you, as a freelancer, if you are a real hustler, you may not even want to travel because you are thinking, nope, what comes first? I need to get this coin, and that's just it. So yeah, that can be a bit of a con as well, that not being able to travel as much as you hope because you are not as free as you want to be. But I would say that's just maybe in the beginning stages, and as you build on your clientele and maybe hire a few staff and things like that, then you'll be able to restructure your business or freelancing gig in a way that allows you to travel without having all of these commitments. Yes, later on down the line, as long as you stay consistent and you stay persistent and you're getting the results you want, then yeah, I don't think that this would be a problem long term. Yeah. So I hope that this has been extremely helpful for you guys. It has been a whole word vomit for me because I have been talking and talking and talking, but it has been so worth it because it's just kind of inspired me as well, just to get back on what I've been working on, especially because my goal is also to be location independent. I'm hoping to get there by God's grace by the end of this year / next year. I want to be completely location independent. It's just really inspiring to even know that there are jobs out there that allow you to travel and get paid for it. So yeah. Alright guys, so thank you for watching my video. Make sure you give this a big thumbs up. if you enjoyed this content. I post quite often on this channel, and I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.